Alright, so before we begin, I've actually never really been an iPad mini user before picking this up, and I feel that right now is probably the best time to finally cover this. Now that it's actually around $400, and while it's one of Apple's more niche products, and at the same time not their most popular or focused on products, it might actually be one of their most underrated tablets in their lineup regarding form factor and overall usability you can get out of one of these. Now, of course, I say this without diving into some of the drawbacks and quirks, which it does have, and I absolutely will mention, but it kind of slipped under my radar for the past couple of months. And if you're looking for an iPad right now, you kind of have four choices. You have the normal iPad, then you have the mini, iPad Air, and the iPad Pros, which are all kind of within their own price range. But it's really important to know what your intentions are regarding using the iPad you're looking for, and what the capabilities and limitations are of each model. That being said, the iPad mini can sometimes appear like the guy in sports that always gets picked last on the football team because he's the smallest and doesn't look like he can hold up to the bigger dudes. And maybe you might actually be sleeping on that little dude because he packs a lot of punch at that size, which is exactly where I'm going with this. It's got an A15 Bionic, which is a baller chip, and this iPad fits in an area where the sheer form factor, overall comfort, and travelability is top tier. Of course, you're probably gonna wanna reserve your more serious work towards the iPad Pros, but then again, not everyone does insane stuff on their iPads. Where the Pros are gonna compete more towards a full laptop replacement, whereas the Mini is a nice 8.3-inch display that's a bit more low profile and casual in its presentation, while still boasting ridiculous power and specs, which will keep it relevant for years to come. Now, the base model is only 64 gigs, which is unfortunate because there's no 120 gig option, so you can only go from 64 to the 256, and I feel like they do that on purpose, obviously, to steer you to upgrade to the bigger storage capacity. Thanks, Apple, for making this decision already harder than it already is. But if it's for basic usage like watching movies, TV shows, answering emails, reading books, browsing social media, it should be okay. Not on Instagram though, because almost after a decade, there's no app. Anyways, the design is modern after being updated and removing the home button and giving it that square aluminum body, which by the way, makes this thing amazing to hold. It's under 300 grams. The thickness and size make this one of the most comfortable hands-on devices to use, even if you end up covering the speakers when you're holding it. Also, since it's compact, it fits in a lot more bags that you'd normally not consider when you're carrying an iPad or a laptop, like sling bags, purses, pocket carry, and the occasional waist pack for a beach trip if you're into that. So you can travel with it without needing to throw around a backpack or a heavy case. And the screen. The screen is where things are not so awesome. It's a 60 Hz 500 nit IPS display that's nothing insane. It's by no means bad. It's not ProMotion or mini LED level, but it looks solid, has good colors, and is bright enough for most general indoor usage. Obviously, if you bring it outside, it's not going to compete with some of the higher brightness screens that can double its brightness, but it's also not as expensive as those screens either. And okay, it also doesn't have a 120 Hz display, which I thought would be a huge deal breaker for me. But if you aren't a crazy enthusiast, it should be fine. I honestly would have rather them use an OLED display over IPS because at night it gets a little bit noticeable, probably a bigger drawback to me than the lack of a high refresh rate screen. But then again, what would that do to the price? Probably draw it up a couple $100, but in that price range, there is a lot of Android tablets that have some pretty smoking displays. So it is a little bit of a drawback when it comes to the Mini. And overall, the 60 Hz screen does make the experience feel a bit slower than the laser fast high refresh rate screens. But at the same time, it does feel like a pretty solid little mobile device for gaming, if you're into that. Obviously, you're not gonna get a Switch game level catalog with this, but you do have some great Apple Arcade games, and pairing it with some cloud services like xCloud can get some really awesome gameplay that doesn't feel horrible, plus the emulator world that you can dive into. Now, the cameras are actually really good, with a 12 megapixel rear camera, which takes pretty solid photos, and you don't look completely ridiculous while you're doing it. While the front-facing ultra-wide camera is solid for meetings, FaceTimes, general collaboration work, and it does a good job. Would I love to see Face ID in the future? Sure, but right now we just have Touch ID. It's pretty snappy, and now shares the same neighborhood as the volume controls, which were moved around because when you shrink things down, sometimes you need to arrange where the buttons go. Nothing here really snags up on anything or collects any lint or dust, and the speakers deliver good stereo sound that gets plenty loud. It also stays cool in your hands, even under some heavier usage where it doesn't feel like you're holding a slab of hot metal in your hands. The bezels are still thicker than some other tablets, and at this size, they do look a little bigger because the screen is so much smaller, but they do really help dodge any accidental touch inputs. Battery life is also pretty good. I'm getting around 7 to 8 hours. Apple claims 10, but I would expect a little bit less than that. You have USB-C functionality if you're into that, and the full frame has magnets for keyboard folio cases, Apple Pencil support. No smart connectors though, so you won't have any smart keyboards, but you'd also really need a small keyboard for this. So other than that, that's pretty much the frame. Even though I find the on-screen keyboard to be really good, the UI and iPadOS overall are unfortunately not scaled or optimized correctly at all. The home screen has spacing that pushes all the icons into the center of the screen, making elements and icons appear even smaller than on the iPhone. Which, if you've had your fingers crossed about Apple fixing the scaling issues, they still haven't. It's still very wacky and not optimized for iPadOS. That being said though, this is also a pretty cool little digital planning tool. Is it gonna replace your $3 notebook? More than likely, yes, but we're also comparing a $400 tablet to a $3 notebook. But for the functionality you can get out of this, the convenience and form factor for casual web browsing, kicking back, taking a break where some of the other tablets might feel too large, this sits in a good spot. A lot of people might be torn to just get the normal iPad, which might make more sense in a lot of cases because it's cheaper, has a larger screen, or you might be able to look at some of the older used 2018 iPad Pro models. But this is like a smart notebook-sized device that does a lot, but not the crazy bleeding edge features that the higher tier devices offer. But for some people, this might be the perfect little sidekick. And at $100 off its retail price on Amazon right now, I feel like it's a lot easier to recommend than it was at launch, where it's still a pretty pricey tablet. Sitting at $500, it's definitely not cheap. So if you love the size and the form factor of a device like this and feel like it fits your needs perfectly, party on and check it out. It's a neat little device, clearly not for everybody. Surprisingly, a ton of pilots use these as little navigation sidekicks. And honestly, you might actually like it a lot. I find myself picking this thing up a lot more than I expected to compared to the bigger iPad Pros or even the phone. Honestly, it's pretty cool. I have everything listed down below in the description. Leave comments about whatever you want to see in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.